Boing, 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 boing.
January.
This opening song is called Fun Show Tonight. Find it at awtfy.com. That's awtfy.com/fun.
It's very hard doing very singy songs, like not songs that you can kind of talk your way through.
You ain't ever seen dignity told like this.
Yo, 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 yo.
Realist dignity sniffer on the internet. Saving the price for your soul.
Billy Zane is at $80.
Do you hear me? These are the prices you pay for fame.
Wesley Snipes is $100.
Wesley fucking Snipes.
This is at 100?
Hey, kiddo, grab my bag. Boing. Everybody give me money.
Night Attack, the podcast.
How else would he be so obsessed with giving me all this?
Here,
All right, no foot and see around.
Right.
Yeah, no. Oh, God damn it. God! This fucking car turns up in a hole. I will leave. Oh, give a goblet of fire. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, kiddo, grab my bag. Boing. Everybody give me money. Boing, 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 boing.
Goddamn, these are weird ass songs.
Oh! Straight from the annals of Horse Pussy Lovecraft. It's Tuesday night, and that means it has got to be go time for Night Attack. Hello, you beautiful denizens of the internet. I'm Brian Brushwood, live in Austin, Texas, as always, joined by my BFF and OAK. It's JRY, Justin Robert Young, doing the Duck Robot, taking it back 9 years ago.
You goddamn right I am, Brian. I'm taking it back where it belongs 9 years ago, 2011, when this all began. Just kidding. Probably earlier than that. Hi, Brian.
Hey, man.
Look, we're simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
I'm sorry, Bwan says what?
I'm saying that we're simply having a...
Sorry.
We're here tonight. This is the thing.
Okay, so we were talking about this in the pre-show.
Kinda hungry, some onion rings. Simply going bowling tonight. But Paul, we need a Christmas ditty. Hey, no problem.
I sit down at the Outback. I order a steak, the bloomin' onion. It looks really great. Simply cashing in all of my goodwill.
Well, the reason why we're having such a wonderful Christmas time is because we have the rest of our crew here with us. Of course, our producer, Bryce Neshcom Castillo.
Heyo.
And
Hi. Why did you say hi for me?
No, I'm saying heyo to you. That's how I say hello to people.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Heyo.
everybody.
and of course, Bonnie, the Invisible Wife.
Hi.
Huzzah!
Bonnie.
Hello.
Hey, Bonnie.
Yes.
You seem to indicate that you did the yoga.
Oh, I did the yoga. I did the yoga today.
How did it go?
Oh my gosh. It's been a long time since I've done the yoga. And it turns out that you can lift weights for a year, and then when you have to support your own body, it's like, oh my God. No, it was difficult.
Did you fall over?
No, I did catch myself.
Did you
from
fart?
falling.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
fart.
all right. There's
That's
only
the big
one
thing.
question about yoga, and it's fart related. Who farted? How much did they fart? Did it smell? Did you fart?
Nobody farted, but I did giggle, like when you giggle in church and it was inappropriate. And then I said, I'm sorry, I got the giggles. And then she goes, that's okay, because giggling makes it it makes it more hard to balance. So it's an added challenge for your balance.
What did she say that made you giggle?
I don't. Just go for it.
No.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I called a shot I can't make. I'm backing out.
Although this yoga lady is completely awesome. She's got this, I don't know, she's got calm enthusiasm and she directs you pretty nicely. Now the other guy, man, he comes in He's just kind of bored. He just is like, we're here,
Hey,
And he's like, all right.
Is he like a yoga bro?
He's a yoga bro. Now, if there is, the
you're gonna drop some V's.
You're gonna drop some V's, guy.
You're talking about what was his name? The youth pastor, Thurgood.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
God.
James Thurgood?
James Thurgood?
Yeah.
James Thurgood, youth pastor.
All right, can we get a taste of James Thurgood walking in?
I don't know. Bonnie, you tell us a little bit more about your yoga situation.
No. You see, the thing is yoga is the opposite of James Thurgood. Like,
Oh, I don't know, man. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you a story about a little kid who had to fight for his life, and he was gonna die on them streets until he started fighting on the streets, and then he blasted the yoga flame. That little kid was Dulcim. True story.
oh my god.
Hey, bro, listen.
You want to drop some wise?
Now listen. It's me, James Thorogood, former youth pastor. I used to be dropping visas in verses. Now I'm dropping visas in vinyasas. Yoga bro, James Thorogood, here for you. Now, listen, a lot of people, a lot of y'all might be like, hey, James, what did Ganesh say about that? And I'm like, listen, this will all be explained if you get into Warrior 2.
Oh, for your audio listeners.
Hey, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's too good.
No, yeah, he's totally yoga bro. And in fact, you've got all these like gray hair people, me included, and then we're all like doing our yoga and stuff, and he's just like, so when everything's just feeling kind of fucked up, effed up, Like, and then you're like a little bit shocked out of your yoga pose because you just dropped the F-bomb. You're just like, what? So yoga
So
bro.
somebody brought up in the chat, not about yoga farts, but yoga queefs, and it makes me wonder: is that a recognizable difference between the two? Can you
Could you earball the difference between a fart and a queef if somebody was in a downward dog?
I think so.
feel like a queef would be flappier, right?
Well,
Like that's a flappy bird over there.
It depends on the
All right,
parts.
so imagine
Would
you're-
it sound like a trumpet when they have the half the plunger on the front of it?
Oh.
Wah, wah, wah.
You guys, I feel like this is a little hateful,
Hateful? What are you talking about?
Like, we go to worship our bodies and take care of ourselves and do our vinyasas. Let me drop some V's on you.
Vaginas.
Yeah.
Vaginas.
Vagina farts.
Yeah. No. I'll keep an ear out.
All right.
Please do, guys. I think I might need to read you this. There's a big controversy going around about the song "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Independently, Bonnie and I both happened to read that Vox breakdown, where I thought they did a good job of accurately representing both perspectives on it, at least in the beginning, and then I stopped reading when it got into societal commentary.
So we talked about this has been a running commentary on the jury show, but I got this email that I feel like I want to share with you guys because I think it's a very important perspective.
Okay.
This one came in from Glenn. Said, hey, I loved your defense of Baby It's Cold Outside. I grew up listening to my grandparents singing it to each other lovingly at family Christmas parties. If it helps, they're in their 90s. To make it more modern, my wife loves it as well because of the words and loves to behave the way the woman in the song does. We are conservative Christians, and there's a value in being good. See, this is a very wholesome letter.
Okay,
What?
Justin, with all love and respect, this is exactly, I'm not saying you're laying a trap for me, but I'm going to say that this is like a Turing test. If you were laying a trap, this is exactly how it would start off.
No. Trap? No. Hey, Brian, look, Baby, it's cold outside. You can't leave the bit now.
Okay,
we're
no,
already halfway through the email.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I really shouldn't be associated with this kind of bit. I'm just thinking.
No. Hey, put some records on while I pour.
Oh,
Let me get to the end of this email here. All right.
Oh my God! You guys just explained your whole relationship. That is exactly it. You guys are baby is cold outside. Oh my God!
I don't know what
Okay.
you're talking about. I'm just trying to get out of this bit, and I guess I mean it is kind of cold outside now that I think about it.
Listen, hey, fuck your maiden ass. Let's get to the end of this email.
Sure,
What do you
sure.
say? Me and you. Please, you and your listeners, don't jump to pre-conclusions about Christians or conservative stereotypes. Resisting your urges creates buildup and anticipation. Believe it or not, we like to enjoy and fuck as much as others.
I mean, I mean, ain't that in the Bible? Fuck a lot.
Absolutely.
It's in Genesis.
This was immediately. I was reminded of one of my favorite Onion articles or columns of all time that were extolling the virtues of abstinence until marriage, and then just a very graphic litany of the things that happen once Jesus has blessed your union.
Yeah, no, it's like Genesis chapter 5. It's like, fucking bang. I want grandkids. He's like,
All
you're
right,
annoying
so
parents.
here we go. This now becomes a game, which in my opinion makes it better than just a quick fuck. Or my wife compares it to rubbing her pussy and then stopping before she orgasms, then starting back up 30 seconds later to build to a bigger climax.
I mean, that's accurate. Hey, by the way, is there is there married people Christian porn out there? Is there a website that specializes in like, yo, we're totally married and I only come inside of her, but we get freaky up until then. We're totally married. Take a look. Is that a thing?
You want to know what? I think you're sniffing around the right areas here, Brian. Let me continue with the final paragraph of this
Okay,
email.
I can see no way this doesn't land wholesomely.
So my wife has it in her head that she's been seeing the man in the song for weeks now. She wanted to fuck him on the second date, but hasn't decided if he's worthy of her pussy yet. Now she's resisting, as she always does, because not of some societal norm forced on her, because she's building anticipation of making sure he works for the gift of pleasuring her.
Wait.
Her resistance changes to harmony as she's dripping wet and ready to fuck all night.
So this is okay. So I've heard two versions. I've heard that it's rapey and coercive. I've heard the flip side is that it's flirtatious and like it's a song of sexual empowerment because she wants to fuck. She's like, hey man, work with me. I need an excuse here. What do you got? He's like, I have one idea. It's cold outside, but I know where it's warm. This is an interesting middle ground. The edging defense.
There we go. It's Christian edging.
You know, I really think there's some credence here. I think she's just like, you're gonna have to work a little harder, sweetheart. I'm game if you've got game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm trying to think of. I wish there were more lyrics besides "It's cold outside." That's some weak ass fucking
That's all
excuse
you
making.
remember. There's other.
Yeah, there's
other
it's
things.
snowing or some shit, or like
Yeah, but it's
Robert Mueller just filed plea agreements.
Do you know what?
I feel like he should have been more creative in his excuses. Like, start with "It's cold outside," and she's like, "But I want to stick around." He's like, "There's a strangler about."
There we go. Yeah,
And then
I
That
really
sounds really
can't
creepy.
stay.
And it's
but
like
there's cult members that carve 666 in your face.
I think that door's booby trapped. Like I get it a little bit more.
Speaking of boobies.
Yeah. We're all in a simulation.
We're all gonna be dead soon anyway.
Oh my gosh. So
I just got a fatal diagnosis.
Who was? Oh Jesus! God damn it! Why can't I remember the philosopher who's famous for creating nihilism?
okay.
Nietzsche.
Yeah, I've been reading Nietzsche. That's,
No,
too
that's
late.
terrible.
Too late.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, that's like the opposite. That one
No,
fucking
that's-
just evaporates anything that was going on to begin with. If you're
Yeah.
just like, oh no, can you stay here and let me recite my thoughts on Nietzsche? She's like, fuck that. Nanook in the north. She's got her big tennis racket shoes, getting the fuck back
She's
home.
like,
Is it-
do you know the heater just dried me up? Goodbye.
Jesus Christ. I like to think one of his excuses is outside they're caroling. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. You don't want to hear that. He starts throwing shade at other songs.
Now there's a real important thing though. Like everybody was all uptight about the song, and then and then I think if you understand the much older generation, it's like pro sex, right?
Right.
But the people who are criticizing it are actually on Time magazine for having the least sex ever. Like this generation
They're
is
on Time magazine not having sex.
Yeah, it says like on Time magazine or one of the major magazines. It might not be Time, but it's one of those that have been around.
Well, you know what the
forever.
problem is it's so fucking cold. Nobody can go outside to go meet anyone.
I
It's a problem.
I know.
I
Hey,
know.
by the way, thanks global warming.
Anyways,
Uh,
this is an advertisement.
I want
for-
to find out more about we have a mailbag segment. So if anyone's familiar with Christian porn, I want to hear all about it because we talked about Mormon porn at
Jeez,
some point.
Brian.
Do you remember that?
Wait, I mean, but like, I think it's fine if you're doing freaky shit with your wife, right? God's like winking and like saying like,
I mean,
yeah,
first of all,
dog.
God's watching anyway. So
God,
You know
God watches everything.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that
And
weird?
he's like sternly like, no, for like shit out of wedlock. But if it's in wedlock and you just got like fucking some weird shit going on, he's like, fucking my man.
dude.
My man.
Well, and plus also, but he also knows at the core of his being, like when you're going down on your husband and you start jerking him off and you lick his taint and then up on his balls, God thinks literally like, I would have done that better, but I'm proud you gave it that effort. Like that's factually, that's how perfect he is.
Well, he
Tell me
knows
there's
the
any
blueprints.
fallibility in this logic.
Well, it'd be great if God just like put a fucking Dance Dance Revolution score like in front of your face, like 78.
Maybe that's the final judgment. Is he goes back and criticizes all of your sexual technique for
What
your
if
life.
you're at the gates? You're at the gates of heaven, and St. Peter's just like, well, that time you licked the balls, lackluster to be sure. It's like, wait, what about my charity? April 27th. Really didn't put in a lot of effort there, now did you?
Let's
I
talk
would
about your cherry,
I-
not your charity. No, wait.
I would love to think that he gives his criticism and then always kindly says, but I love you. And then goes on to the next one.
I think he only gets kind of like bent out of shape if it includes shellfish or pigs
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
leavened bread.
You're getting all
Unleavened
Leviticus
bread.
up in this shit.
Yeah, right. No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, no, that's only if you're playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right. They got rid of that along with psionics back at like third generation. No, deep cut.
I do like how there seems to be a cutoff point of like, oh yeah, well that was Old Testament, so yeah, you can eat pigs now. You
Well,
know?
except for all,
Yeah.
This is called wandering back into where it's warm because it's cold outside and we don't want to be out there.
Simply backpedaling from that conversation.
Wait.
It got too hot about God.
Can I
It
tell
was okay when it was more abstract.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
actually, I have a confession, not a question. Okay,
Confession question.
a confession question. Okay, so there's this thing called the shelf elf. If you haven't heard about it, you're an idiot.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
And I think it's called Elf on the Shelf.
Okay,
yeah,
I
Yeah,
don't even
Elf
know
on
that
the
you
shelf.
can call people an idiot and also. This is so
I'm
aggressive.
sorry. Okay.
No, I heard that you will go to hell if you eat shelf elf.
They call him
Shelf
the Hell Elf.
Right. No. Okay. So it's just a way to put added stress on parents. It's miserable.
Why? Are you saying that the elf doesn't get up in the middle of the night and wander around on its own with its own free will and agency?
You know what? If you're under 12, quit listening now.
Oh.
If you're under 12, why are you listening to the show to begin with? But yes.
Nah, you want to know what? Considering what they went through already, it's fine. You want to know what?
Yeah, I'd like to direct everyone back to the first 10 minutes of the show when we were talking about farts and queefs.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, by the way, that was the elementary part of the humor, was just, do farts sound different from queefs?
I think they do. But anyways, I sent Brian a text. I'm like, oh shit, quick before the kids wake up.
Wait.
Yeah, or it was something like
Bonnie wrote, be sneaky, move the shelf elf. And then I responded, you sent this as a group text. And then Bonnie writes back, delete it. And I'm like, yeah, sweetheart, let's talk about how
No.
that works.
Now the only person we have to. But anyways, so like I'm driving and I'm like at a stop sign.
You're already being dangerous about it, too.
It's that fucking stressful. It was like, I'm going to risk the lives of me and my oldest child in the back so that we can make sure that goddamn shelf elf moves around or whatever. So anyways, I was at a stop sign when I texted. And then I start rolling and then I can't do anything. But then meanwhile, I had heard before you wrote me back, Penny tells me, Mom, that was and then like, we've never had an open discussion about this. She's 14. And so like, she knows, and we've always played the dance, but we've never had this out moment about like all the bullshit that goes on with, with the Christmas magic.
Yeah, sure,
and so,
sure.
And the shelf on the elf, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the elf on
The
the
shelf on the elf.
The-
The bench
So-
press.
Now I'm fucking up.
So the elf on the shelf.
It's time for the birds
Elf
and the
shelf.
elves discussion.
Yeah, it is. So then I'm like super embarrassed. I'm just like, I'm sorry, Penny. And she goes, what, Mom? In her perfect, like, cynical 14-year-old sound. She goes, what, Mom? You mean the the elf on the shelf doesn't get around by itself? And I said, no, sweetie. I said, well, actually it did, but it died a long time ago because y'all touched it and we've just been moving its corpse.
Wrecked.
Oh, that's great.
That did not go where I thought it was going to go. I thought that you were gonna be like, no, but congratulations, welcome to Fight Club. You have Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and we'll split the rest of the week. But instead, you just said, no, you fucking killed it. Stop fucking looking at your phone.
Oh my God.
So bad. And Penny's like, Mom, horrified, but laughing. Like she's laughing her ass off. And like to get a 14-year-old to laugh her ass off was amazing.
Oh.
I was just like, oh my gosh. I go, Penny, I'm so sorry. That was inappropriate. She was like, it was hilarious. It's okay. So,
well, I'll tell you what else is not hilarious, or sorry, is hilarious, but in that weird way that your mom telling you that something's dead is. That is donating to us on Patreon. Again, that is patreon.com/Night Attack. That's how we keep this shit going. And I'll tell you what, this is the week. No promises, but this is the week where it's going to be good to be a patron. It's going to be really good to be a patron. Might be a little bit of extras coming in. No promises, but there might be. You never know.
Yeah.
Now's the week.
Let's just say that if you wink pledge, then you wink will receive wink a comedy album that we've already. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
Also, not the whole thing.
Oh, sorry. In the meantime, look, you guys are the best people in our lives. Thank you to everybody who contributes. And of course, if you are a new pledger or if you raise your pledge, then you have a chance to be randomly selected at a little thing that we like to call...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Night Attack new Patreon name chant corner hour.
It's an hour of it. Hey, man, you know what? Sometimes patience, tenacity, stick-to-itiveness, stoicism, they're all rewarded. You might not get your way the first time you raise your pledge. You may not get it the second. But if, in this case, we have somebody who's raised their pledge week after week, with this, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single penny raise. And on his 4th penny raise, we did sing the praises of Eric Cranley.
Eric Cranley.
Oh,
Eric Cranley.
Eric Cranley.
Oh, Eric Cranley. I ran into him a few towns ago. Walking around with a bunch of the Queen's pennies he was. Saying a raise to you, good sir. 'Tis me, Eric Cranley.
Eric Cranley. Coming for Eric Cranley.
Oh, Eric, you're looking for Eric Cranley? I heard he once punched Paul Bunyan right in the balls. Said, I'll make a queef out of these.
He had such a strong arm that he knocked Paul Bunyan's massive balls well clear to Missouri.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember how this story began. President Washington asked Eric Cranley, if you can make Paul Bunyan queef, I'll give you all the money in the Queen's coffers. It doesn't matter that we're not at war with the Queen. And Eric Cranley, he went and made friends with Babe the Blue Ox. And Babe the Blue Ox said, oh, Paul Bunyan, he's only got one weakness. He sleeps in the nude. He's like, all right, how does that work? He's like, well, when it's warm out, his balls get a wee bit floppy. And so Eric Cranley snuck up in the dead of night, and he gathered as empty trash bags all of Paul Bunyan's testicle scrotes. And he punched in and made a big old sphincter-looking bowl, and he tooted the horn. And then he held it tight, and then he pulled it like a balloon, nice and stretchy. And at that moment, Paul Bunyan woke up and heard... and thus...
A mighty Paul Bunyan bellowed, knowing he was bested with a queef.
And then he did get all of the Queen's riches. And he did donate it to Night Attack at patreon.com/Night Attack. Good day, love.
Thank you, Eric. And of course, you can go ahead and give us cash in the way of bits or subs on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Night Attack is where that happens. And we shout out for a minute everybody who does that right here on the show. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, man. Hold on.
What happened to you this week?
Okay, now, renegade for a minute. That's Spanish for I was looking at the Bit Boss, who is Cheesy Bob with 210 bits. But 310 bits. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I got a wee bit Eric Cranley there. Anyway.
Well, listen. It's an open bayou, after all, which means that we're all allowed to do whatever we want. And here, the one thing that's absolutely off limits is agent signing your way to an improper victory.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't want to get all funkarious up this. I ain't Paul Bunyan's scrote or nothing. But I had a real scoop of faith the other day to the tune of 1,000 bits.
Certainly so. But let's not get too hasty. After all, a stoic squirrel is always around the corner, waiting to show you up.
Yeah. J King 206 just cheered 350 bits. Thanks.
Elegant.
Are you just like gasping for improv air after the Cranley bit?
I
Just like,
listen.
There's no more. I gave it all in one burst, and now it's just, hi, I'm Brian. I'm doing an internet show.
I mean, it's like I already ran my 800-meter race, and it's like I'm already icing my knees off to the side. But joining us is one of our BFFs in the entire world. You know him as the guy that wrote the movie Doctor Strange. What you may not know is that that's all he'll ever do. Please welcome to the show, C. Robert Cargill.
Oh, you might be muted, Cargill. You might want to unmute yourself. Sorry about that.
He's so humble. He doesn't even want to introduce himself.
No, this is his new commitment to a more physical presence on the internet where, he only flails wildly. Are you there, Cargill?
Yeah, I'm here. I was told that I was going to be on in a few minutes, and so I was finishing something up, and then it started ringing, and so I started frantically running around.
Yeah.
Well, we are always happy to have you on. How do we want to handle this? There's the news broke right before we went on.
All right, so here's how we'll handle this. You read the article, you'll notice nobody from Marvel or Scott Derrickson has commented on this. So the odds of me commenting on this in any way are diddly over squat.
Okay, so this is nothing. Nothing is official. These are rumors that are being circulated that Doctor Strange 2 will be directed by Scott Derrickson.
Sure.
Okay.
Or if I'm hearing between the lines correctly, what Cargill's saying is like, I make no promises, bitches. Nothing to break.
I make no promises. I say nothing. I confirm nothing. I deny nothing.
Sure.
Good man.
There we go. All right. Well, we do have to ask because it is something that was out there, but we are happy to have you on no matter what. What's been going on, man?
I just got off of vacation weekend. I just did a weekend that me and some friends do once a year where we rent a house out in the hill country and I program movies and we watch movies for 3 days straight.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have a game lined up for us. What are we feeling like this week, Bryce?
If you give me one more minute, actually.
If only I could kibitz with Cargill.
Does Cargill know we're going to have a River Point 2?
Oh, yeah. Cargill, you remember the River House, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that this 7-acre schwood that we're putting together, I realized that there was something familiar about all the ideas that we had to make it an awesome place that people love to hang out. And I realized, I'm just rebuilding the River House, aren't I? So I can't wait.
You are your parents' son, is what you are.
Indeed.
Is there going to be a sweet bar with a karaoke machine in it?
I mean, yeah. Okay. True tales. I definitely had the legit thought of, okay, maybe a full-size, fully functioning Dance Dance Revolution arcade belongs in the garage at some point. I'm just saying. Nobody cares. That's fine.
I mean, no. I mean, anytime you want me to come and crash at River 2.0, I'm down. I enjoy a nice weekend out of town.
Which is where going all the way out to Brian's place would effectively
feels
be.
like. I mean, it's like
this is also true. Like Brian lives in Austin.
Our place is closer to Austin.
Quite literally, we are across the street from Austin city limits. We are literally at Austin city limits.
You can throw a stone and hit the outskirts of Austin.
Yes.
That is correct.
Indeed.
Technically closer to Austin.
Yeah.
So we got a game today. BioCow sent this in. BioCow made a whole this big interactive doc thing. So we've actually got a whole thing here.
But BioCow did last week's game as well, right?
Oh, right. He did write last week's game.
Yeah, no, that was super clever. Very clever, BioCow. All right, look, I'm going to tell you right now, Cargill, he's a tricky one. BioCow's games, they get slippery, like Paul Bunyan's scrot.
Yeah.
Yes, like Paul Bunyan's scrotum. We're gonna play BioCow's game.
Don't worry, Cargill. It was you can catch it on the pod. So here's the deal. Bryce, what is the name of this game?
The name of this game is Derby Girl or Drag Queen.
Nice.
You're gonna be given the name you're going to be given a stage name, and you're going to have to tell me if that is either the name of a roller derby athlete or a drag queen.
All right.
I may be a ringer in this one.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Well, in what area? The derby or the drag?
Why not both?
I mean, Austin does have a fairly famous, or had a fairly famous derby girl scene in the late 90s, right?
No, still does. In fact, I have several friends who are professional derby girls, or semi-professional derby girls, if you will. And I know a bunch of people on the scene, and I've gone to my fair share of drag shows. So I think I'm going to be pretty good at this game.
All right, very cool.
Well, I'll tell you what. There we go. No shortage of confidence.
A Renaissance man.
I mean,
Because I know derby girls and drag queens.
I mean,
all
By
the
the
way.
way, yeah.
I'm excited, though.
And your wife has indeed got her a man who could do both.
Yeah, I do both.
I got to tell you, I'm really excited to for a final, for a big twist and switcheroo, see some confidence from Cargill going into a game that he surely will win.
All right, here we go. So we got our first round here. I think what we'll do is we'll do what we normally do. You'll all go in order on each question, but we'll change who starts first each time. So, for example, for round one, oh my goodness, I should have read these out loud. Penitentiary, like penitentiary.
This is the game. This is now the new game. Bryce, what was it again?
This is where the real action is.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Skype ducked out. Can you say it again?
Penitentiary. We're gonna start with Brian.
Oh man, that's one of those. I feel like if it's got a violent streak, it's got to be a derby girl thing. So I'm gonna go derby girl.
Also,
Brian's gonna go
that's
Derby Girl.
a fabulous name.
Penitentiary.
Yeah,
that would be a really great drag.
That would have been a good
really
middle
good.
name for Penelope.
Penitentiary Brushwood.
No.
Justin, we'll go with you next.
I am. Are we playing? Can I go with the same one, or do I have to take the opposite?
Oh no, you all three are playing individually, so you can pick either way.
Okay, yeah. No, my guess is if it's a sex pun, it's a drag queen. If it's a violence pun, it's a derby girl. So I would go derby girl on penitentiary. Although, I mean, maybe she's a bad girl drag queen and she's off to jail for
She comes out dressed like the Hamburglar.
Drag crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Justin's
she's got a
gonna say-
switchblade and she's like, "Look, you want to race for pinks? I'm penitentiary."
That's a really good persona, though.
Robble,
All right,
robble.
Cargo, we'll go for you before we find out the answer.
Oh, I mean, that's definitely a derby girl. Come on.
You're definitely
Come on.
saying Derby Girl. All right. The answer is bump drag queen.
God damn it!
All right, man. Now the difficulty bar is set a little bit higher than I expected. Hoo
It
boy.
is definitely set high.
There's penitentiary on Instagram. There we go.
On IG, look at that penitentiary.
All right, round.
Please tell me that Tally Zarell is here. She is
All right,
one of our.
going with the hard ones to try to throw us. So
Yeah, well, one of our hardest core fans literally just will be in my chat almost every day, and whenever things just that she doesn't want to talk about are being discussed, she'll just start talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, like just to be like, oh, so anyway, I mean, All Stars, right? Man, Trixie Mattel really got robbed.
Okay, Justin, we're gonna start with you in round two. Your name is Malice in Wonderland.
Oh.
God damn it! Well, now I'm all thrown off here because of penitentiary. This is real
Real sneaky.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Malice in Wonderland. I'm gonna stick with my rubric, and I'm going to say that Malice is a derby girl.
You can go Derby. All right, Cargo. Malice in Wonderland.
I'm going to concur.
Okay.
I also think that is a derby girl. If that's a drag queen, that's a scary fucking drag queen. So I'm going with derby girl.
All right, Brian.
Hey man, I might be biased here, but I had two dancers named Menace and Malice at a live stage show, so I'm gonna say that it's got to be a drag queen.
All right, Brian's gonna say drag queen, and the correct answer is Derby Girl.
Oh!
Justin and Cargo get a point. They're at 1 point. All right, we'll move on to our third round here, And we're gonna start with Cargill.
What are the positions in Derby? Right, there's like breakers and flyers.
Well, the seeker gets the snitch or the snatch, and the clover
right.
is never mind.
No,
All right.
you tried to do 2 jokes on one.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, round 3. We're gonna start with Cargill on this one. Cargill, tell me about peg leg. Peg.
Oh, that's got to be a drag queen.
You saying gotta be a drag
Absolutely
queen?
a drag queen.
Okay, Brian.
No, I'm gonna go Derby Girl. That seems like a tough name.
You know, Derby girl. Okay, Justin. Peg
Wouldn't
leg.
seem to connote athleticism, though, right? Like at the end of the day, the Derby is an athletic event.
Might be tough to
Peg
skate
leg
with a peg
seems
leg.
to kind of say the opposite,
But
right?
Bonnie's giving me a withering look right now. She seems really disappointed that I went Derby Girl. So I don't know if she has some insight for you.
I'm just thinking that you got burned by last week's
Game?
Game.
That I'm convinced everything's a trap?
Yeah,
Well,
I
effective
feel
strategy, BioCow.
I feel like you got this knee-jerk reaction to all of these. So
Yeah, it's my
I'll
peg
be
leg
interested.
acting up.
Yeah, it's your peg leg. It's twitching.
I don't know the answers to any of these, by the way. Though I would say if you're someone who is like a roller derby athlete and you like tend to kick a lot, or you're known for having a strong kick, maybe that's a peg leg.
Wait, is
thing. Are you allowed to
I
kick?
think kicking happens
Cargill's
in
saying
roller
no.
derby. I don't think it's like a canonical part of the game.
I've heard of roller derby before. I'm getting that impression definitely.
Yeah, I don't think that it's like, oh, she's got a strong kick on her. Put her on the squad.
Here's
But also I could picture a drag queen coming out wearing like a big black dildo for the act of pegging, and she's peg leg, and that's her shtick.
I would say that although that is a very colorful picture that you painted for everybody, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say that it's a drag queen.
You're gonna say it's a drag queen. All right. The correct answer is a drag queen.
God damn it.
so here's a fun fact.
Yeah.
The man that gave me my tattoo had a peg leg.
No kidding.
Yeah. In fact, I remember you telling me that that's why you got a tattoo. Like,
Yeah, it
you're like,
totally
well, I
was.
wasn't planning to have a permanent depiction of anything on my body, but this guy's missing a leg, so.
You look like a pirate. It was like, are you gonna get where are you gonna get if you're? Well, I was already thinking about a tattoo, but then I was sold.
How do you feel about your tattoo now?
Now I think it's dumb.
Why don't you get it like redone? Get it re-upped?
I don't know. I kept thinking I'd keep donating blood, but then now I'm not donating blood as much. So
You're out of
I might as well.
excuses.
Yeah, I might as well just get it, done over.
So what do you think? Crowdsource the illustration?
You know what? I bet somebody would come up with something cool.
Let's open it up. Open it
Okay.
up. Hit us
Here's-
up in the mailbag.
Here, I'll tell you. I tell you what happened. We took a nickel, and we drew around it, and we made a tiny, cute little happy face. And then I had 3 babies.
So now it's the size of a silver dollar?
Yeah, it is. It is not a circle. It is not.
But you want to know what, Bonnie? Just like you in real life, that smile's only gotten wider.
You know what? The children really brought that. That's so
That's pretty sweet.
nice. Aw, now I don't want to change
Play
it
the
ever.
lullaby. No.
All right, we got round 4. We're gonna start with Brian on this one.
Yep.
Brian, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about Cinderella.
Oh, Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Oh man, this is
Oh,
the
this
perfect.
is the first one that I feel like is a real either wayer.
It goes either way. In fact, I'm gonna say it's. Forgive me if this is an incorrect understanding of things. I feel like drag queens will, in general, have the more clever name than derby girls, so I'm gonna go with drag queen.
Whoa!
Yeah,
whoa,
no,
that's-
that just happened. That
that's
just happened. That's right.
different.
Come at me, bro.
Cargill, you're a writer not only in screenwriting but also in books. Cinderella, as it's spelled, Sinder, capital Hella, kind of a hat on a hat, right? Like it could be just Cinderella with an S, or it could be Cinderella, but she goes both ways, right?
Yeah, she really does.
I'm going to say that it is a drag queen.
Justin's going to say drag queen. All right, Cargo, what do you think? Cinderella.
You know, I think I'm gonna go drag queen as well. This one's on the fence, but I think the spelling of sin is the important part here. Not exactly an integral part of derby scene, however, very much a part of drag queen scene. So I'm gonna go with drag queen here.
All right. The correct answer is Derby Girl.
Damn it!
Ooh, unfortunate.
Wow, I'm really bad at this game.
All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, round 5.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
Here's round 5. In Derby Girl or Drag Queen. We're gonna start with Justin on this one. Justin, tell me about Lynn Schmab.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, God damn it!
I'm sorry, boys. That's got to be a derby girl.
As in, Ice.
Not a choice here.
As in, Ice Cube was rolling with duh. I'm gonna say, but all right. So my instinct is Derby Girl because it's a very pointed violence thing, but like also like the drag queen culture I've always loved because their comedy is very offensive and normally like priding themselves in being able to go places that a regular comic would not. All right. Sue me for saying regular. I'm going to say that it is a derby girl in a derby world.
Cargill, what do you think? Lynn Schmab.
I'm gonna say Republican derby girl.
You say Derby Girl, okay.
Man, I'm gonna go drag queen just because it seems like that's so subversive comedically that you wouldn't want it casually mentioned by the person announcing, the score at the ring, but you would want it as an introduction of, oh, do I have your attention now? Let's begin, and let me blow your mind.
That would be like that. That is kind of made for the like. And now you're starting roller person, Lynn Schmab. Like that is it's something that plays more on a PA system.
Yeah, no, I concur with that. That is exactly what I'm thinking here.
All right. The correct answer is, Brian, you said drag queen? Is that
Yep.
correct? Is drag queen.
God damn it.
Brian's on the board.
Yeah, finally. 1 point. They call me 1 point should.
We can take a look at the scoreboard right now. Brian is at 1. Justin's at 2.
We're very good at this game. Woo!
And
Where's Cargill?
Cargill was not made when this document was made. Cargill is also at 2 points. I'm gonna have to just manually put him there.
Oh, Bonnie. Oh my gosh, Bonnie's over there. She just casually looks at me and mouths the words. 4. She's keeping track of her score.
Bonnie's keeping score herself, huh?
Good.
Bonnie's
Okay.
been playing the home game.
Okay, we're halfway there, and we're gonna start on round 6 with Cargill. Cargill, on this one, you're gonna start with us. Tell me a little bit about Madeline Hatter. Madeline Hatter.
That is going to be a drag queen. I think the feminine name coupled with a clothing accessory, if that's a derby girl, that's a pretty weak derby girl name.
All right, you're gonna say drag queen. All right,
Drag queen.
Brian.
No, I think it's definitely a derby girl. I think straight up Mad Hatter. You think of the character bonking people on the noggin. That is.
Like Little
That's
Miss
the
Fufu.
Joker.
What's that?
I said that's the Joker.
Oh yeah. My logic stands.
Justin.
See, the problem is I don't think it's a good name. So it is like it could possibly just be a bad derby girl name or just a kind of a basic drag name.
Oh man, either way, you've made an enemy, and I hope that people don't reach out to whoever this person is. Yeah.
Why are you
No,
stoking
sorry.
him like that?
I'll never be able to
Bonnie
step
just
foot in
dropped her
Portland
phone in
again.
shock.
Shit. Fuck. God damn it. Madeline Hatter is a drag queen.
All right. Madeline Hatter is a drag queen.
Damn it.
That's point number 3 for Justin and Cargill. How you guys feeling? We only got a few more here. How you guys feeling about?
I'm feeling great. I think I'm gonna win. I think I'm the
feel
best.
Like I'm really bothered by the fact that me and Justin are getting the exact same ones right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you guys are changing off who goes first, so you should. I mean, it's more statistically that it's not like Justin's following your lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got round 7 here. We're gonna start with Brian.
Yep.
Brian, tell me a little bit about Lady Macbeth. My favorite dollar menu item.
I want so bad for this to be a Derby Girl. That's a great Derby Girl name.
All right.
I don't want to hear a Lady Gaga tribute from Lady Macbeth, but I do want to see somebody get punched in the face by Lady Macbeth.
Justin?
You want to know what? I think I'm going to go drag queen on this. I feel like it's theatric, it's theater, it's Lady Macbeth, and she does a little bit more of a Shakespearean act.
Okay, all right. We'll put you down for drag queen. Cargill, Lady Macbeth.
Yeah, this has got to be a Derby Girl. This is the opposite of the last one. If this is a drag queen, this is a really creepy, terrible drag queen name. But it's a really great Derby Girl name. So I'm going Derby Girl.
All right. The correct answer for Lady Macbeth is Derby Girl.
Yeah.
I'll
take it.
Point for Brian, and then Cargill's taking the lead now at 4 points.
Son of a bitch.
That's right.
Well, I'm sorry that's all the time that Cargill has with us. We'll finish the game without him.
Fuck you.
Okay, 3 more here. Round 8, we're going to start with, who is that? Justin, I believe. We're going to start with you. Tell me a little bit about Ivy Drip. Ivy Drip. Like the
Ivy
plant.
Drip with 2 P's. Got that Ivy Drip. I'm going to say Ivy Drip is shockingly there's not a third option for SoundCloud rapper. I would say that Ivy Drip is a
You got this.
drag queen.
You say drag queen. All right. Cargill, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with him on this. As several people are noting in chat, this is a nurse drag queen. Like this is somebody who dresses up in nurse clothing.
Sexy
nurse, and that's Ivy Drip. Otherwise, again, Ivy Drip as a Derby Girl would mean something slow moving, which is the opposite of what the idea you want to get across. So I'm saying this is probably a drag queen.
So I'm thinking Ivy Drip. I mean, it sounds sexual as hell, right? Like you think of what's dripping.
Oh, goodness.
And then, but I'm so bad at this game.
Needle.
Well, and also, like, if she is a Derby Girl, what's her signature move? The slobber? She gets up and she goes blah, 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 over you, or
maybe the sting. Probably more needle.
You just
than
got dripped.
dripped.
Also, I think we are again coming to a very concrete conclusion that either Bryce or Brian have ever seen roller derby in their life.
Well,
That's true, but still.
And like, if you want to sound tough, it's like, I'm gonna make you need a.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
you
send you
on-
to the hospital.
I'm gonna put you in an Ivy
Yeah,
drip.
you're
okay,
gonna get the IV drip. Then you're gonna get that IV drip, bitch.
And, like,
All right.
that would be a good name if you were like an EMT, like that. That was your
man,
job.
how would you feel if you're having like cardiac arrest and then your EMTs come up and they're cosplaying? And they're like,
they may not
"What's
do that
up,
much."
bro? I'm Flex McGillicuddy, and we're gonna make you live."
The second nickname?
I'm Flex McGillicuddy. This is Shadow, and between the two of us, we're Flex and Shadow. All right, we're gonna need you to breathe. With everything I am, I believe this is a drag queen, and because I'm terrible at this game, I'm going to say Derby Girl.
What?
Yep.
You
Nope. That just happened.
Okay, all right. The round 8 answer for Ivy Drip is a drag queen.
Damn it! I can't even psych myself out.
I'm with Cargill. There's no way that act ends without her putting on a rubber glove and offering to anal exam somebody.
Oh my goodness. All right. As we go into our second to last round, the scoreboard as it stands right now is Brian has 2 points. Justin has 4. Cargill is sitting pretty at 5.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know why I'm happy with my 2 points? It's called restraint. You gluttonous D-bags. Oh, just more points. Just wolfing them all down.
Wait, is gluttonous
All right, real
D-bagging-
question. Before we go any further, Brian, how are points scored in roller derby?
You like lap somebody, right?
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Oh man, if I had the sounder, I'd play the belt bet right now and do my dance.
Nah, I can give you this.
No, that's all right. There we go. That's enough.
Good
That's-
news. Ryan, you won against comedy.
Brian won comedy 0.
Oh my god. All right, question 9. We're going to start with Cargill on this one. Cargill, tell me about Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb.
Cherry Bomb is absolutely a well-known derby girl.
Oh, really? Does she have a shtick?
Not to my knowledge, but
Do derby girls
that's a
have
good
shticks
girl.
at all?
Oh, yeah.
I think they're derby girls, so they don't have sticks.
Oh, all right.
All right, Brian.
Ryan. Oh, jeez.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Andrew Dice Clay.
Okay, so I crossed the line.
Wait.
Yo.
So my jammer laps the girls.
Cargill said it was absolutely what?
So it was absolutely a well-known
Derby
derby
girl.
girl.
Okay, well then I'm going to take his confidence as a sign I should pick drag queen. There you go.
All right. A very strange strategy for Brian, who usually tries to win these really hard. All right, Justin, Cherry Bomb.
How many do we have left? Like, do I have to start playing against Cargill?
We're about to get to our final 100 million point question next. So,
Yeah, there are 2. You have 2 more answers left
yeah.
to catch up or pass me.
I'm actually gonna go with drag queen. I'm gonna go counterintuitive.
You're actually gonna go drag queen. All right, Cherry Bomb is drag queen.
Huzzah!
All right.
Legit tied.
There's a girl named Cherry Bomb, though.
I don't doubt it, but I know there's also there's female wrestlers named Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb I think is a fairly popular name for female entertainers because of the song.
Yeah.
Well, direct all complaints to BioCow for
All right.
writing this very bad quiz.
Yeah, whether they have to do with the quiz or not, just like whatever you're complaining about, hit up BioCow.
Okay, we're going into our last round. One last check of the scoreboard. It is currently 3 to 5 to 5. Justin and Cargill are in a dead heat. Brian could catch up in our 10-point round.
What?
That's right. All right, our final round here. Let me pull it up here. We're gonna start with Brian because he's trailing.
Dang it.
And we are talking about Holly Go Bite Me. Holly Go Bite Me.
That's the kind of phone it in thing I would expect from a derby girl. I'm gonna go derby girl.
Just
Wait, you think Holly Go Bite Me is a phone it in name?
Yeah, that's like me like, hey Brian, you're finally gonna wrestle. What's your wrestling name? I'm like, I don't know, tough guy, McEat shit. You know, like that's what I would do. And so this is
No, but that's like the pun on Holly Go Lightly, right?
Yeah, which is like totally epitome of like female like
Yeah.
Go on. The
everybody
epitome of-
wants to be Holly Golightly.
All right, today I learned there's a thing called Holly Golightly.
Wait, you don't
She's
know
also
this?
she's also it seems to be a main
It's
character
Audrey
in Breakfast
Hepburn.
at
Yeah, what the
Tiffany's.
fuck? And I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's, Brian?
And I said I've heard of the film before, but I don't quite
I don't
recall
remember
the
the
rest of the
log line.
lyrics.
So I show Brian the movie one time, and he just totally criticizes it. I
What?
was just like,
No.
yeah.
What?
He goes, this just seems like, I don't know. I mean,
Didn't
he
have
just-
George Papard. He was in the A-Team.
No.
It certainly had a totally uncontroversial role by
By Mickey Rooney.
yeah. That certainly aged well.
No, he is absolutely correct. It is George Papard who is playing the gigolo in that movie.
Yeah. All right. So that means whatever I say is right. So I stick to my answer.
Stick with Derby Girl. Let's see. Justin, I'm gonna let you go first, just because I think Cargill's got a larger breadth of knowledge on this subject here. Holly, go bite me.
So my initial thought is that it's a drag queen, because it is a very feminine, devious role in Holly Golightly, and so that would seem to play more to the drag queen thing. But I feel like there's a little bio cow trickery here, and I'm gonna go Derby Girl, because that's what I think Holly Go Bite Me is.
All right, you're gonna say Derby Girl. Cargill, for the game.
Drag queen,
Drag queen, no hesitation.
no hesitation. I mean, and frankly, at this point, you know, if I go with Justin, we tie. And if I don't, one of us actually wins. So
Old game theory Cargill is what we say.
All.
There we go. Number one, thank you, Cargill. Unlike my co-host, actually playing to the drama of the event instead of just shouting what he thinks.
All right. Well, with a score of hold on, let me double check this.
6.
A score
10
of
plus.
4 to 6 to 5. Our winner today is Justin Robert Young.
Hey!
Congratulations,
Motherfucking Holly,
sir.
go bite me.
Wait. So I missed what Justin's pick was. He said drag queen.
He said Derby Girl.
Oh, great. All right.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, BioCow, for sending this in and making this really nice doc. Thank you. If you have a game you want to send in, send it in to mail, mail, at nightattack.tv. That's the email address where we take your games and your email submissions for the mailbag at the very end of the show.
Yeah.
Hey, Cargill. What were your favorite movies that you watched on your weekend away? Is there anything cool that you either rediscovered or saw for the first time?
Well, I mean, I programmed it, so
Sure.
It was mostly stuff that I had seen and a few like brand new screeners of stuff that's coming out. Now, there's a couple things that have recently come out. In fact, today is Tuesday. A movie just came out on Blu-ray today that's been on VOD for a week that I highly recommend, called The Captain. It is a dark World War II movie about the last few weeks of the war, and a German deserter, a Nazi deserter, finds the uniform of a captain, and he puts it on because his clothes are ratty and he's freezing, and he gets mistaken for an actual Nazi captain, and he fakes it so that he doesn't get arrested or, you know, shot and killed for being a deserter, and slowly gets drawn deeper and deeper into this mistaken identity. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Also, my favorite movie of the year, I showed it and it played like gangbusters. It's called Heavy Trip, aka Impaled Rectum. It is a
Derby Girl. Derby Girl.
No, wrong. Answer is Finnish death metal band. It is a comedy about a Finnish death metal band that is freaking hilarious and has the best last 10 minutes of any movie I've seen in several years. It is a raise your fist in the air and cheer movie. I cannot recommend that movie enough. I've seen it 4 times already this year. I own it now, and will be watching it several more times over my lifetime. I adore it. And rediscovered, I rewatched Stalag 17 with my friends, and that played like gangbusters. If you've never seen Stalag 17, it is a great World War II drama comedy.
Is this the one that
really
has is it Steve McQueen in it, or oh no, I'm thinking of The Great Escape that was also based on the same story, or?
Well, I mean, they're both about POW camps. And this is the one about a particular barracks, and one of the members of the barracks is a spy, and it's very much about who's the spy and who's giving up information on the camp. Whereas Great Escape is very much about the attempt to get a bunch of prisoners out and break out at once. Both are great movies. Stalag 17 is just one of the greatest movies ever made. It's one of those movies, it's like Casablanca. You can show it to anybody, and it doesn't matter how old it is. It doesn't matter how out of date it is. The writing is so sharp and funny and entertaining, and the performance is so great that it just plays to everyone as if it's brand new.
Dude, so I just saw, as Bryce was calling up each of those movies, I saw the Rotten Tomato scores on all of them. Hot damn, man, those are some good picks according to The World, which I'm really excited to dive into.
They're really good movies. Highly recommend all of them.
And
seriously, you guys are gonna love Heavy Trip. Heavy Trip is just a hilarious movie, and the way everything gets drawn together at the end, all the strings are pulled, and it is just a beautifully tight, wonderful narrative that just watch it with friends and howl with laughter.
And the captain is a full on drama, right? Like despite the plot synopsis sounding like an episode of The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret, it actually is not played for laughs.
It is a dark movie. The first hour of it, you're like, "Hey, this is good. I'm into it. I'm in this with this guy. I want to see him get out of this." And then he takes a turn, and the rest of the movie is so dark. But in the best way. It was a movie that people couldn't stop. We showed 15 movies this weekend, and by the end of the weekend, 2 days after we'd shown it, people were still having discussions about The Captain. It's one of those great films. It was directed by Robert Schlenke, a guy who's done a number of big budget American films, almost none of them good. No, I mean, like, his best films are The Time Traveler's Life and Red, both which are good but have problems. He directed R.I.P.D. He directed...
Oh, Jesus Christ. That almost killed fucking Homeboy's career.
That almost killed summer movies, took full stop.
Followed that up with Divergent and Allegiant. And so he was so fed up with Hollywood, he went back to Germany and made a personal film about World War II, about a true story, and made the best film of his career. And it's freaking fantastic. And it's one of those, there's a certain point that directors reach in their careers where they've just been beaten up and taken the wrong projects, and things have gone not their way. And where they realize that their career could be over, and they swing for the fences. It's and in doing so, make the best film of their career. James Wan did that with Insidious. And Scott, my writing partner, did that with Sinister. And this is one of those where you can tell this is a director who just knows that this might be their last film and has decided they're going to prove that they belonged here all along, and then make a film like The Captain that I'm never going to forget.
The two examples that pop into my mind as you say that are Mad Max, the director before that, he did what? Babe 2, Pig in the City, and then what was it that who was the director of Logan? He had some middling successes before that.
I mean, like George Miller, I don't know if he's made many bad movies, because even Babe, Pig in the City is pretty good. And then James Mangold.
He was a bit quiet, is what I was saying.
Yeah, he just didn't work, but yeah, James Mangold's fucking awesome too.
Yeah, no, Mangold had a few movies that were weren't as well received, but people still debate to this day. I think the most debated one that he's got is Night and Day, which is a film you either really enjoy or you just out and out hate. Because it does something really different, and that different isn't necessarily good. So, but Miller made a whole bunch of he went from making the Mad Max movies to making batshit insane children's movies. So he was making like the Babe movies and
What, Happy Feet? Yeah.
Which is a film people still think I'm nuts about. They haven't seen Happy Feet, and they're like, Happy Feet isn't about all this crazy shit. It's like, dude, watch the movie. That movie is nuts. That movie is an atheist love letter to environmentalism in a way that environmentalists go, whoa, slow down there, dude. Let's not get too crazy. It's a nutty film. So yeah, but no, this is one of those, like, this guy, you know, after 3 films in a row, like he directed 2 Divergent movies that pretty much killed the series. Like that, the final film was going to go direct to television until the star of the movie said, "I don't make movies for television," and the whole series was killed.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he was part of Ryan Reynolds' worst weekend ever, where Ryan Reynolds had 2 movies bomb on the same weekend, R.I.P.D. and Turbo, and he was radioactive for years. And it was Deadpool that brought him back, and we finally have a full-on Ryan Reynolds today. But that weekend, until that point, I had never seen a weekend so decidedly destroy an actor's career, and it is just the fans who fought for Deadpool and the director leaking that 2-minute 30-second test video of Deadpool that saved Ryan Reynolds' career. And then of course Ryan Reynolds fucking brought it, and he's been so entertaining ever since. And I've been a big fan of his for a long time. I actually really like his romantic comedies. He's got a really fairly unknown romantic comedy that I think is genius called Definitely Maybe, that if you've never seen, you should. It's a romantic comedy whodunit in which Ryan Reynolds is Abigail Breslin's dad, and Abigail Breslin wants to hear the story of how he met her mother, who he is now divorcing from. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you the story, but I'm not going to tell you who your mom is in the story, and you have to figure it out. And so it's all about the many loves of Ryan Reynolds and trying to figure out which one is the one that he ended up settling down with and having Abigail Breslin with. And it's an adorable fucking movie. So I would definitely recommend tracking down that one if you're a Ryan Reynolds fan.
All right, so the one thing, you are definitely very savvy in the ways of the film industry. What do you think is we need Oscar pool gold? What are the films that are going to sweep like the Golden Globes and the Oscars? What are the surefire hits there?
You know, it's really hard to discern that right now. And the reason is there are a number of really highly overrated films that are getting lots of Oscar buzz. And those are exactly the films that everybody talks about and bets on up until then and then don't get it. So
it was kind of weird because a lot of them bombed, right? Like Green Book was one of them, and then First Man was one of them, and then none of them made any money.
Yeah, and there's some coming out right now. There's one going to Netflix called Roma that is getting lots and lots of love from the film community. And I watched it with 15 people this weekend, and not one of us liked it. It's going to be a really weird year. I think Black Panther's got a really good shot at several awards that normally superhero movies don't have a chance at. First Man has a lot of great performances that are worth not Oscar nominations, certainly. Oh, The Favorite. The Favorite's one that's gonna not only satisfy audiences, but probably gonna win some awards, especially acting awards. That's a really, really entertaining film. That's out now. That's Yorgos Lanthimos, but he didn't write this one. He just directed it. So his weird directing is in there, but it's a really, really good film. And the performances are out freaking standing.
I want to see that. It looks kind of madcap.
It's weird. It's definitely a film that not only entertains while you're watching it, but is really fun to dissect afterwards, because it really is a very deep film. in terms of how it's structured and what's being said and the choices these characters make. And they all make very interesting choices, so it's always fascinating to watch it. And it's a really satisfying movie with just one fucking bonkers final shot that you're just like, wait a second, why did you end on that, Yorgos Lanthimos? And then I just answered my question because it's Yorgos Lanthimos. But that's one that's definitely going to do very well during awards season. So I would definitely look for that one to.
I would say, yeah, that I would say The Favorite is my favorite because a medieval lesbian love triangle movie that might be a bit of a crowd pleaser seems like the only kind of film that would be generating the kind of excitement that you need to from the Academy type crowd.
Yeah. Also, someone mentioned Vice. Vice also will probably do fairly well. Probably might get a writing nomination. Definitely some acting nominations in there. And probably a Best Picture nomination because it's a really fucking good movie.
All right.
Is it good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, keep in mind, this is the same team that brought The Big Short.
No. And look, if they can make, but The Big Short was, I mean, granted, they devered far from the book, but there was at least like a book that brought kind of personalities to that very complex story. This kind of seems like more of, Adam McKay's Huffington Post columns sort of come to life in a fan fiction-y kind of way. But I'm pumped to see it.
Yeah, no, he does some very, very clever things with it. It's a great education for people who only know of Dick Cheney from the 90s on, because it does focus on what he was doing, in this, how he became a Republican, how he ended up working for Donald Rumsfeld, how he ended up working in the Nixon administration, going on through the 80s as part of the Reagan administration. There was, it's a very interesting history lesson that is never boring. The performances are great. There are moments of hilarity of just in the way of the storytelling that make it such a clever film. And I don't want to spoil any of it, but I highly, highly recommend it. Vice is really good and will definitely get nominations for the acting.
All right, gentlemen, if I could pull your heads out of the clouds for 5 minutes and ask you a relevant question. Cargill, have you already seen a screener for the Spider-Man movie? Is it great? Tell me it's great.
I have not seen a screener, but everyone I know who's seen it has flipped the fuck out. They've talked about crying 3 different times. Knowing this particular storyline as I do, I know one of the parts that's got to be in this fucking movie. And if that is in that fucking movie, I'm going to be fucking destroyed.
Well, I don't want to kick in the speculation engine and then end up getting myself pre-psyched out about it. But man, I got to be honest. I 6 months out when the first trailers dropped, I was so like, oh, please be good. But I didn't really believe it was going to be good until the whole world is saying it's good. I'm very excited.
Well, you know why we didn't know it was good? Because when it came out, when we got that trailer, they didn't mention the names Lord and Miller.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
And they were both involved in writing it and producing it. And these are the guys who keep going, hey, we're going to make this movie. And everybody goes, nobody wants a 21 Jump Street movie. Nobody wants a Lego movie. And these are the guys, and they're like, who really wants an animated Spider-Man movie? Oh, right. Now everyone.
Especially, I mean, it turns out their bosses didn't want their solo movie, but maybe at their own detriment. I'm super bummed to see it. I actually didn't know that Lord and Miller was behind it, which makes me want to go see it more because I have been fans of them since Clone High.
Clone High is the brilliant best cartoon series nobody knows exists. It is way too good for its own good.
All right, wait. Have you seen Aquaman?
I've not. I'm hearing nothing.
Do you know if a fish punches a guy in the balls? Because this is my one question. I'm gonna buy a ticket either way because against all odds, it's apparently really, really fun. But I am pumped to see it, and I pretty much exclusively want to know whether or not a fish punches a guy in the balls.
I would really like to know that as well.
All right. Well, then we endeavor. together to find out this crucial information.
By the way, my brother throwing shade at the 12 frames per second on Spider-Man. He doesn't like it, and then everybody else in the chat jumping in saying boo to the low frame rate of Spider-Man. I actually
Is it in low frame rate?
yeah.
None of the trailers look.
It looks like it's like almost on the threes. It's
I
certainly
need
not
to have
24.
my video game perform at 60 frames per second.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, Cargill, obviously people can follow you at Massaworm on Twitter. Is there anything else you got coming up with the books or anything?
Well, nothing coming out right away. You can always, if you want to listen to me pontificate on film more, you can check out my podcast, Junk Food Cinema, and which you can find on whatever platform you listen to. Also, I have a brand new podcast called the Ride Along Podcast, which is a short, brief 10 to 20 minutes where me and David Shen talk writing advice. So if you're interested in writing at all, that's, we get deeper into some of the stuff I talk about on Twitter. So we just started that last month, and we're having a lot of fun with it.
Let me just say this, because I don't think that we have talked since you started doing this more actively on Twitter. But if you want to be a writer, if you want to be a screenwriter, if you want to be an author, and you are not following Cargill at Massaworm on Twitter, you are cheating yourself. The advice you give on writing and the motivation is, I think, spot on, and something that anybody who really cares about making a dream into a hobby or a hobby into a profession really need to pay attention to. So good work there.
Thank you.
Hells yeah.
All right. Thank you. Listen, if you wanna, do you wanna hang out? Do you have time or?
Yeah. It's Tuesday night. I guess we're gonna end the show, and then I'm gonna come back with a glass of whiskey, and we're gonna hang, right?
Hells yeah. But we got a little bit of house cat.
All right, but
Yeah, we got some housekeeping
before we do that,
first.
let's get into Diamond Time, right, Brian?
Yes, indeed. Diamond Time is, of course, the moment in the show where we... This is the part of the show where we shout out your projects. Head on over to diamondclub.reddit.com, and you'll see a big old fat sticky post, almost always with the correct date listed on there, except for this week. Our first thing, it says Diamond Time for December 111th, 2018. The first and top post says, obviously, it's December 11th. I can't fix it, and if I could, I wouldn't. Thank you, Neshcom.
Can I point out that 2018 has been so long, I wouldn't doubt that there was a December 111. This is the year that never fucking ends.
All right, how about this one? Our first is from Bearded Nightmare. The NBA season is back in full swing, and so is my podcast about the Portland Trail Blazers. Okay, it's mostly evidence that will be used against us if our wives ever accuse us of alcoholism, but come listen to some hot takes and dudes drinking too much at Blazer Tag Podcast, where fine podcasts are streamed, and at blazertagpodcast.com.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Thinink says, Diamond Club, hey, also, I've been listening to the backlogs of Night Attack, holding at episode 80, and I want Brian and Justin to go back to wearing top hats and monocles during Diamond Time. Therefore, I created this potion. He says potion. He says to help, go to YOLO420.com/Google. Again, that's YOLO420.com/Google. It appears to be just an imager link of somebody dressed as the Monopoly Man in the background of a Google hearing.
Yeah, I think that was today. That's Sundar Pichai of Google that is being grilled by Congress.
It's amazing.
All right, Rex Stardust says there's a new Tomcat video. Enough said. YOLO420.com/TommySwag, TommySwag. Do we want to get a little taste?
Well, and we watched it in the pre-show, so if anyone's a patron, your button's on.
This is a good time to remind people that, of course, patrons get the pre-show, the post-show, and all the show in between, where we are able to take a little bit more of a leisurely time and enjoy the full majesty of this gem from our friend Tomcat.
Guys, if you don't watch the video, if you don't subscribe to us on YouTube, I'm just begging you. I'm begging you, people. 420 YOLO420.com/Tommy Swag. Go get it in your life because we've been a fan of Tomcat on this show and previous incarnations of this show for a very long time. And I can say with absolute authority, he goes to places you would have never thought he would go in this video.
Also, looking fitter than ever, man.
You just love watching Tomcat because everybody has correctly pointed out that he is an older version of you and he's in fantastic shape.
I mean,
and you just look at him and see optimism.
All I could say is I hope I got the same Benjamin Button gene that he has, where you just get younger and fitter as you age, man.
Holy shit! All right. Brian, what do you say we do a little Diamond Mail time?
Sure, after we check in on the Movie Draft Minute.
Welcome to Movie Draft Minute, presented by CosmicRadio.tv for the week of December 10th, 2018. I'm your host, Roberto Villegas. In a post-apocalyptic world where cities ride on wheels and consume each other to survive, two people meet in London and try to stop a conspiracy. Let's go check the scoreboard. Team John Trucker is in 6th place at $47.9 million. Team Core Killers is in 5th place, $198.7 million. Team Nicole is in 4th place at $230.5 million. Team Justin is in 3rd place, $283.5 million. Team Brian is in 2nd place at $448.6 million. And in 1st place at $509.2 million. It's Team DTNS. And that is your Movie Draft Minute for the week of December 10th, 2018.
I have a question. Can I come in real quick?
Yeah.
Whoever's in 6th place is performing so bad. How am I not on that team?
well, because they're about to have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Aquaman, Glass, and Serenity all in the last couple of months.
All right, well, that makes sense.
But in the meantime, Team John Trekker is back at $47 million. DTNS is probably maxed out. All they have is Welcome to Marwin. So let's call them at a $550 million. Justin, you've got, just Bumblebee and whatever is left in the tank for Ralph?
Yeah, basically. And although Bumblebee looks great, the reviews are super hot. It's apparently the Transformers movie that everybody always wanted, now made flesh, with all the 80s nostalgia. And there's apparently just the exact fan service that there's a whole big 80s looking Transformers segment to start the movie, just to be hey, we're really into this. We're not going to just yes, we're still in the Michael Bay universe, but we actually care about fans who like this franchise before these gigantic movies came out. But at the same time, I'm fucked because First Man needed to make money and it made zero money.
Yeah, the only way for you to be a player here is for Bumblebee to make $300 million, which I just don't see happening. But meanwhile,
it could. I would not count it out. Keep in mind that any movie that comes out this particular weekend, there's a reason why there were 3 big budget movies scheduled for this weekend, and then one of them was yanked. It's because the legs on this particular weekend for entertaining films that appeal to families is huge, and getting $300 million out of a single film like this is entirely possible and has happened many times for things that aren't Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. So I would not count you out. There's been a lot of damage done to that brand, but it is not out of the realm of possibility.
I guess that's the thing I fear, Cargill, is that this will be the movie we all wanted, but it's just too late. We've been beaten down too many times by too many Transformers movies.
But it's going up against Aquaman, which is also a beaten
that's true.
Down franchise with the DCEU. So I mean, it's really 6 of one, half dozen the other, as to which one is really going to catch with the word of mouth, or they could both. And that's the thing. Kids are off 2-3 weeks, and they need something to do with their families, and the families take them to see movies.
I have a secret weapon.
What's that?
And his name is John Cena.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Nor should you, my friend. Nor should you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I would love it if Bumblebee was the breakout hit this weekend. But at the same time, there's always that weird thing where, and this is what we always said about even when we were drafting about Into the Spider-Verse, that you have two surefire fucking hits, right? It's superhero movies and kids animated movies. And for whatever reason, you've never had a theatrical blockbuster that is a kids animated superhero movie. But this seems like it has the critical acclaim. They're certainly selling it on TV. Like, this is not only a crowd pleasing movie that you should bring your kid to, but also this is like Pixar. You need to see it because it's the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes movie.
Well, all the critics I know that have seen it say it's the best animated film of the year, that it just beats the crap out of everything else. And that might be the movie that has legs this season. It might be, it might come down to the audiences going, do I want a Transformer? Do I want a DCEU? Or do I want a Marvel movie? And even though it's not officially in the Marvel universe, in the MCU, it is enough Marvel that, most people aren't going to differentiate between that. So, and the fact that it's a quality movie is really probably going to do well for it. So that might be really bad for both Bumblebee and Aquaman, but yeah, it's going to do well. But the question, we'll see. It's this kind of stuff is always a toss up. So I think this is going to be
the one thing I do have going in my favor is that even though by the end of the Bay Transformers run, the movies did continue to get longer and more skull pounding, they still always made money. Like what was the least grossing one by the end still made, not too far away from 300 million, right?
By the way, the only thing that I'm not hearing you mention is, man, oh man, I'm so surprised at what a sleeper moneymaker The Grinch has been. Like, they released it at the perfect time where it's got that constant grind. It's still doing double-digit millions week after week after week. We still have 2 more weeks leading up to Christmas. So I'd be curious what kind of boost it gets closer to the actual holiday as people go to their grandparents' place and their grandparents are like, we're going to take you to the Christmas thing.
I can't believe anybody undervalued Grinch. Animated Seuss films always do well. Like, if the live action ones didn't, but that's why they've been stopped. The animated Grinch films always deliver. So I don't know why anybody doubted that.
I will tell you what, I have never seen a marketing campaign with those cross-marketing things where it's like they're really advertising pistachios, but they're actually advertising the Grinch. Like, they put the Grinch name on fucking everything, and it has been like 2 commercials every TV break for about a month and a half. Nobody doesn't know that there's an animated Grinch movie in theaters right now.
And never underestimate Benedict Cumberbatch. That's something to learn.
Meanwhile, I will give a plug for, if you listen to, I think, the most recent Smodcast in which Scott Mosier tells the surreal story of what it's like to be a director and be in Times Square and see the marketing campaign come over. He at some point says, like, there's this moment where it's like you invest in making a thing and then the adults take over and they're like, yeah, we got this. There's a reason we're going to spend $150 million marketing this thing and making it right.
All right. Hey, Bryce, what do you say we do some Diamond Club mail?
That's right. Hey, let's jump into the Diamond Club.
Join us for drinks in the Diamond Club.
In the Diamond Club? That sounds grand.
I love that little bumper. Okay, so we got an email from... this is actually a part 2 that we didn't quite get to last week. Shazal asked, Shazam is my favorite hero. What are yours? Gentlemen, favorite superheroes. Go!
Oh, geez. Yeah, this is going to sound like such a cop-out, and I wish everybody could remember that there was a time that nobody knew who Iron Man was, and he was my guy when I was in 8th grade. I got the chicken pox and went down to the Circle K. Actually, I didn't go. I had Mom go down there. She got me copies of the Marvel Universe that was just like a bunch of character sheets for heroes and a few Iron Man comic books, and I fell in love. So I've already had my Cinderella story with my guy, for 20 years not getting his due and then finally becoming the cornerstone of the MCU.
All right. So an easy answer for Brian. Justin.
So I have a similar story in that my library in elementary school had 3 books that were basically compilations of the origin stories for 3 Marvel superheroes, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and the Hulk. And it was literally the only books that I ever checked out. It would just be like, it would be one of those 3 that I would just continue returning and checking out. Fantastic Four was my favorite, but I'd be lying if I said that my favorite superheroes, because I was indeed a teenage edgelord, were Ghost Rider, the Punisher, and Venom. And I have not yet seen the Venom movie because I have very complicated feelings on how I want to walk into that movie, knowing that I love that character so much and I love the idea of the symbiote. I just think it's one of the most fun ideas in comic history to have your costume be like a frenemy to you, which I just think is so great. So I will say, although that's kind of also some of the Ghost Rider shit too, but I'll go ahead and say Venom.
All right, Cargill. What can you name one? Can you pick one? Can you pick a
This
favorite?
is really hard, guys. Like, I mean, if you had to pick just one hero that, one
All right.
superhero that make a movie about, I certainly don't have one right over my shoulder or anything like that.
All right.
It's certainly,
We get it. It's Axe Cop.
it's not like some superhero paid for my house. So I really. No, true story. When I was 13 years old, I daydreamed about writing a Doctor Strange movie, and immediately dismissed it, going, "No one's ever going to give me the money to make a Doctor Strange movie." Then some 25 years later, I get a phone call from my writing partner who says, hey, I'm talking to a company. They would like us to make a superhero movie. And I said, Scott, what superhero movie are we right for? And he goes, Doctor Strange. I'm like, fuck, that's the one. And I got to see that through. So, Doctor Strange has always been close to my heart. A close second is Captain Marvel. And if you don't think I pitched myself to Kevin Feige to write the Captain Marvel movie, you're out of your fucking mind.
You hear that, straw man? Fuck you! He totally did that. I can't believe you'd accuse him of not doing that. Fuck you, straw man!
Yeah, so I told Kevin, I'm like, hey, look, I know you guys are making a Captain Marvel movie. When you're looking for a screenwriter, I know a guy. And Kevin just looks at me and goes, are you a woman? And I go, no. And he goes, then I can't hire you. And I'm like, you know what? That's the best rejection I'm ever gonna get. So I'm down. But those are my two favorites, without a doubt.
Awesome. All right, we got another question from Michael, aka Funkarius. He asks, how do you all feel about all these restaurants these days serving their food like a bunch of crazy people? And he provided a list. Justin, I'm going to ask you if you recognize any of these, because I did not recognize any of these. Brian's laughing like he has. Empanadas in a jar. Recognize? Yes or no?
Oh, no, but now I know where he's steering.
Beignets on a tree.
Somebody subscribes to We Want Plates.
Oh, is this a bit? Did I step into a bit?
No. There is a website. There's a subreddit called We Want Plates, which all it is pictures of the terrible ideas of food service that are crossing the nation in this day and age.
Oh my goodness! Hold on, we're gonna check this out. Reddit.com/r/We Want Plates. Oh my God! Hot chocolate in an Erlenmeyer flask. How awful!
Yeah,
dude, possibly illegal.
Smoothies and light bulbs. That sounds disgusting.
Love it.
Frisbee plates. No.
Been there.
Oh my God. Potted plants.
Oh my God. No, eating currently living things. Pretty dope.
Water in a measuring cup. That's like a Pyrex thing. Like that's awful. I hate this. Oh, I hate this.
Yeah. Look, here's the good news. there's a lot of great restaurants these days, and you can probably find a better restaurant in your town today than you could over the last 30 years. There's a lot of people that just by the way of food education and food interest is just at an all-time high. You're going to be able to get a good meal somewhere close to you. The bad news is that everyone's trying to stand out. And so that's why you get a bunch of crazy wild shit because somebody wants to, break loose on Instagram because they serve the grilled cheese sandwich that comes in a fucking locked safe and you have to unlock it before you eat it. It's just stupid. But, look, I actually don't fault the restaurants because restaurants go out of business really fucking fast. So I can either understand the mania that drives you to be like, yes, here you have to drill into this hollowed out baseball bat so you can eat our sugar tart because they want to just be a thing. So I get it, but it is fucking annoying.
I believe it was Salvador Dali who said, so little of what can happen does happen. By which I believe Penn and Teller rephrased it as, how come every time I order a steak, nobody brings out a telephone book on fire? And I believe that the world should be weirder than it is. And certainly I got beaten the fuck down for bothering to have hair inspired by a video game character. So I am sympathetic to all the crazy, and I think that even more crazy should be out there.
Okay, there we go. We have another letter here from Miles, a.k.a. Papa Sparky, asking for parenting advice. Hey guys, I've been a bit of an introvert for most of my life. My 5-year-old son is an extrovert who will ask for company on his way to the bathroom, so he has someone to talk to while he poops. Evidence is also mounting that he will soon be diagnosed with ADHD. I think it's safe to say that you guys are extroverted most of the time, and Brian has been internet diagnosed with ADHD, and as a father of 3, I agree. So with your life experiences, do you guys have any tips for me to help my son focus and or flourish as he grows up? Even his kindergarten teacher says he's the most fidgety, energetic kid in the class. Thanks for reading, Miles, a.k.a. Papa Sparky.
All that matters is you love him, and that he knows that he's loved, and that he knows that he belongs, and that you're proud of him. All the rest will work itself out. You'll get a diagnosis, you'll get a medicine, maybe you won't do medicine, maybe you'll do therapy, maybe do whatever, but, hold on to that bedrock stuff, you'll be fine.
There you go.
If they were diagnosing kids with ADHD, I bet you I would have got diagnosed as ADHD back when I was a kid. Yeah. Like I was always the disruptive kid that was yelling and stuff. So like I would not be shocked that some snitch ass teacher who probably would have went to my mom and fucking said that I needed to get medicated. These days when that's more acceptable. Look, just I would say from the kid's perspective, like. Just try to give them things to do. Kids with a lot of energy, they're going to want to do things. Just keep shoveling things into the big open wood shredder of that young mind.
Yeah, I'm 100% with Justin on this. As a kid who grew up that way, who definitely was diagnosed as hyperactive and probably would have gotten the ADHD moniker. I would say find an outlet for their energy, something that fascinates them, something that excites them, something that tires them out, something that they can really put their head into, because that's the thing with me is I get easily distracted by stuff, but then anything that I'm obsessed with, it doesn't lose my focus. And it taught me how to focus enough to where, the doctors said I would never be able to sit down and write out coherent things. And here I am. That's literally what I do for a living now. It's all about if you want them to grow into good, healthy adults, teach them how to focus that energy for good instead of evil. And you'll end up with a fairly well-adjusted kid, hopefully.
Oh, and also somebody pointed this out, and I totally agree. Smart kids realize school's bullshit pretty early. And unless you find a worth in that power structure that you want to plug into and conquer, that was 90% of why I was disruptive, because I just found it fucking boring. I just realized pretty early on that I could coast to a passable grade that my mom wouldn't yell at me for and would advance me into this fucking prison system that I was in. And so the rest of the time I would just think about other shit and fucking draw farts.
Draw farts. I would like to imagine.
I concur. I completely concur.
I would love to believe you were drawing farts from a hookah. just.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good
Yeah,
farts.
and then you think it's smoke, but fucking dig this. It's a fart.
Oh
my gosh. Thank you everyone who sent in emails. If you like to have an email read, a question, comment, response to the show, mail@nightattack.tv, mail@nightattack.tv is the email address.
Oh, hells yes. Cargill, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was a freaking blast. You're a champion as always, and hopefully you'll stick around for a bit of the post show with us.
Oh, absolutely. I've already brought the whiskey in.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Well, I guess in that case, Justin, there's only one question. What have we learned? Oh, wait, the
yes,
Biz Boss.
Number one, the Bit Boss. We would like to recognize Scoop of Faith. By the way, let me officially let everybody know that Scoop of Faith, who is our Bit Boss today, with 1,000 bits, is indeed the author of the email that I read in the first act.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
he
Scoop
is
of Faith.
getting it on, motherfucker. Baby, it's cold outside, but not on this dick. To only the person he's married. And maybe other people.
Hey, Justin, what did we learn this week?
Well, we learned that unless Marvel PR has blessed it, Cargill ain't telling shit.
We learned that Paul Bunyan has more stories to tell.
We have learned that God, what was one of the names? It's been so long. Lynn Schmab is a tremendous performer.
Hey, man, I learned that as every Tuesday night, it's the most special place in the universe, and we're so happy to have you guys with us. From the bottom of our hearts, we say to you, die in a fire.
See you next Tuesday.
Oh, Justin Robert Young, every time you go, I get so sad that I wanna drink a warm glass of Drano. Night attack, night attack, night attack, night attack, night attack, night attack. I love you.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.